right, good evening, race fans. We're live tonight here at Daytona International Speedway for the Sim500 Ford Entertainment Group Xfinity Series. And I tell you, Daytona, I always call it the epicenter of all things of motorsports. It usually kicks off the season, and actually it's already kicked off here, but unfortunately it's doing a little raining down there on the real side. What's going on, Alex? How you doing tonight?
Yeah, I'm doing good, and what a great way to kick off the season. Like you said, they call Daytona for NASCAR the Super Bowl, the World Series, the Stanley Cup, all that jazz. They do it right at the beginning of the season. Everybody wants that Daytona trophy. So I'm pretty pumped to start it here with this series, coming over with you really quick for this evening to come help you out on this one. And nice group of guys we got this evening, so pretty excited to see how they handle the speedway, because it don't look too rainy where I'm looking right here on this one. Like you said, compared to real life, it's a little wet out there, but it looks pretty fine here.
Well, the biggest thing is we don't have to deal with rain. Not yet on iRacing anyways. That'll actually come eventually. They got the day-night transitions already, but yeah, we should have some pretty clear skies here. Daytona tonight. These guys, man, are gearing up. Got a good field out here, though. 33 drivers here, and we're back racing. Going to kick off the season tonight here for the Sim500. Been a while with this series, but Ford Entertainment Group. I got to give a little shout out there to, if you don't know who the Ford Entertainment Group is, Jeff Ford out there does an outstanding job. He actually builds custom PCs. He specializes in iRacing style, sim racing style PCs mostly. I mean, he can build you about anything, but his specialty is in the sim racing field of when it comes to PC building. Sorry about that, had to move the mic. But when it comes to the PC side of building, he specializes more into the sim side, and Jeff's done a lot of iRacing build for a lot of the drivers here on the circuit and so forth. But man, I tell you what, these guys are gearing up for a championship to win a custom-built PC by him. So that's kind of exciting for these gentlemen at the end of the season. But it's a long season. They got to get there. Daytona pace cars in. Here we go. Tommy Ryan and company up front. I know a lot of these guys. Randy Yoakum, Tim Johnson, Kevin Brown, Jeff Ryan, here we go. Green flag, we're racing at Daytona.
Yeah, and looking at these guys, they got some, I know bringing over from, because I'm joining you here from the Great Lakes series. These guys, I'm already looking at them, and it's a little early, but I like going through the field, looking at some of these cars. So some of them look real good. I'm expecting this group to have a pretty strong race. You know, I mean, I got a little bit of a lowdown from you yesterday, so I'm expecting these guys to have a pretty good race. Flipping through what I could in the Discord today and looking through all the information and all that jazz, and these guys look like a pretty solid group of guys, especially coming at this track. And you know, you got to be vigilant at this track, because that 31-degree banking in the turns, and that long back straightaway, and that nice long front tri-oval right there can definitely cause some trouble if you don't got a head on your shoulders, you know what I mean?
Oh, absolutely, and you're right, man. It's a 2.5 miles here at Daytona Super Speedway. As guys, man, are getting set. You can already see they're still side by side. They will be locked up side by side for a little bit with this, you know, with the draft here. Now, I'm not going to say after a while that they might get spread out a little bit, single file, with Tommy Ryan still man in charge up front. Randy Yoakum there with him. Tim Johnson along with him, Kevin Brown. You got Jeff Ryan in the mix there, so you got a lot of great names. I know a lot of these great names out here. Let's see, look through the field here. Justin Fuller, keep your eye out for that guy. He has one speed, I always say, and that's wide open. So we'll see. So definitely a race like this tends to play in his wheelhouse there. But he's back in 16th. A lot of strategies. And it's kind of funny when I say strategy when I put it with a plate race, because it's really just hang on and pray you're in the right place at the right time. But strategies will play. Some guys will want to stay out front. Some guys will want to actually go towards the back.
Yeah, and these are the tracks where you got to have a strategy that is on point and works very well, because let's just take it back to earlier in the Monster Energy series for real life stuff. You know what I mean? The big crash that took 16 dudes out of the field today out of 40. I mean, that's almost half of them. It started right at the fourth, fifth, sixth place position. So everyone between there and maybe mid-20s, mid-30s or so was kind of like they got a little handful going on there, and super exciting kind of stuff. And you got guys that want to charge to the front, be up front, avoid that stuff. You got guys who want to go to the back and just kind of lay in wait. I mean, we got 80 laps here tonight. That's more than enough time to make up some time from the back of the field, especially at this kind of track, you know.
Oh yeah, I agree with you there. And like you said, you're going to see strategy. But now the biggest thing I've seen over the years that running Daytona is, I'm not going to say qualifying is not important, but qualifying here, I've seen guys win from the front, the middle, the back. I've seen guys win from 2 laps down on pit roads. It definitely is. It can be done. You have to have a little luck to get it done that way. I tell you right now, Randy Yoakum, Tommy Ryan's 2 men up front. You got Tim Johnson right there along with them. They are still locking horns side by side. You almost got a 3 wide. I don't know if that top lane, the very top lane, is the place to be quite yet. That's actually way back there around Steve Ritter and Justin Fuller. Remember, I told you watch out for him. The guy, man, knows how to come through the field.
Yeah, I'm right with you there. It don't look like that top line is the place to be yet. If we look right here, especially from this view, you got, we'll call it the 3 lines. You got the bottom, the middle, and that super top one. It looks like they're kind of trying to come off that top line to just file into that second line. I don't think that top line is going to get going quite yet, if at all. And especially with these guys lined up as deep through the pack as they are, making it so that that top line just cannot get going. So, but these guys have been doing a pretty good job. I mean, it's been 2 by 2 the whole time. A little bit of 3 wide racing here. Definitely know that this track can handle it. These guys can handle it. So could cause some excitement. Who knows? Maybe some 4 wide racing a little bit later on, or maybe right now, but who knows? You got 3 wide right back there.
Well, you remember the other night we were talking, we had Daytona with the Cup cars, and then we had Daytona with the trucks, and we were talking about the biggest difference between us. We see a lot of 3 wide racing right there with Josh Parker and all, so you got to be very careful. And that's at 51, and Justin Fuller we were talking about right there. He's bringing high lane to life. But remember we were talking about the difference between how these cars draft as opposed to like the Cup car and the truck. Just look at the size of the spoiler on the back, and then look what I was mentioning the other night about the Cup car, the size of the spoiler. Even though they all run plates on all of them throughout the whole series, because these are considered plate track races, and the horsepower might not be as high on these tracks, the downforce packages are so different. The Cup and the truck equal out. They're almost close. The biggest difference with the truck is actually they don't use a plate in it, so you run a lot. The problem is the aerodynamics slowed it down. But if you look at the Cup car, that package on it with that big wing, and then look at the wing on this one, it's almost not there. So these cars are a little bit more ill handling as opposed to what a Cup car. But look at this 3 wide coming to the front. Tommy Ryan, Kevin Brown, Justin Fuller. I told you that guy was rumbling to the front now.
Yeah, they're making that line work really good now. As that past lap or so, they had that car that's hugging the wall up top towards the back. He was kind of giving the wall a little bit of love, it looked like, in the turn. Kind of curious as to what was happening with him. But that top line is moving now, and Justin Fuller, like you said, coming down into that middle groove now, trying to make it work, charging up front. And he did a great job of making that top line work, because EJ right here is kind of trying to keep the momentum going along the back stretch here, kind of coming up side by side with Justin right now, seeing if that top line can keep working, because it's only those 3 guys up there right now, and then it pretty much single files out a little bit after that.
DJ O'Rourke right there, man, up top. He is well known for the Sim500 here. You got Justin Fuller rumbling to the front there, Kevin Brown, Tommy Ryan and company, Josh Parker. You got Randy Yoakum, Jeff Ryan. It is a three-wide duel for the lead so far here at Daytona. These guys right here are showing why they're some of the best here in iRacing tonight. Justin Fuller, man, drops it down low, probably the best place to be, as he's going to right down there with old Tommy Ryan and see if those two guys can hook up. Right behind him, though, there's a three-wide freight train happening.
Yeah, I'm looking out here at the scoreboard, and some of these names right here is this another league we got where we got a couple people with the same name? Is Ryan the one? Is Ryan the name?
I don't know. A little checkup right there. EJ had to get out of the throttle, though. A little, that's the one thing that happens really quick here at the plate tracks is sometimes you can get a little checkup, they're wrecking.
That guy took a hard right there into that outside wall coming down the front stretch. Oh, my goodness.
Started up front right there with EJ. Let's go back on the replay here and double check, see what happened. There was a lot of cars involved with it, Chad. But let's see exactly if we can get an idea of what happened. I know EJ had to check up there just for a little bit. They were three wide right there behind him, or in front of him, excuse me. And just a little bit of a bump draft, I think, gone wrong right in front of EJ. And, man, you can see the 93 machine right there. Not what he wants to see tonight. That car is going around. That's Kevin Brown. Right along with Kevin Brown here. We'll actually see exactly what happened. I think might be a case of just some side drafting going wrong, maybe a bump draft. And we was talking about that earlier in some other plate races, places you don't want to bump a draft. Going in and out of the turn. Oh, that happened down below. Kevin Brown was just the wrong place, wrong time. EJ definitely got through it. Almost just like what happened in the real race earlier on. Happened up front. Nowhere to go. Next thing you know, you got a bunch of cars going around under caution here for the first time tonight. Wow. So, pit stops underway. Yeah, I'm going to tell you, that's kind of unusual. Let's see, well. Oh.
Yeah, so I'll dive into that bump drafting thing a little bit, especially here. Other big tracks like, I guess you could say maybe this one, Talladega, maybe, big maybe on Michigan, because usually Michigan you don't see too much pack racing, you know what I mean? So it looks like you got a guy overshooting his pit right there, but
yeah, nice guy right behind him.
Looking at bump drafting in these races, I mean, straightaways, all for it. Maybe not so much through the tri-oval on the front. I mean, definitely on the back stretch, you got it. Personally, I would lay off a little bit. We like you said, we talked about this for the Great Lakes series that we do, that I get to do with you on Tuesday night and Saturday night. They do a good job of keeping that backstretch, and they keep that discipline going in through the turns. They back off a little bit, because through the turns, if you got your bumper under that guy's rear bumper, you can get real dicey real quick. And I kind of think that's a little bit what we saw is.
Well, with the Xfinity car, the biggest thing too with the Xfinity car is it does not line up as well as what the Cup or the Truck. Now, we talked about the difference in the manufacturers. And if you look, let me see if I can't get a good close-up. Here we go. It's a good close-up here. Justin Fuller's car. Obviously, the Mustang out there. You see how flat-nosed it is right there. Really good at bump drafting, as opposed to if we go to, you see right there on the Camaro, how pointed that nose is. A lot of guys on iRacing, and I don't know if so much in real life too, but a lot of guys on iRacing have said that some of these models, especially with the Toyota and the Camaro, are really hard to square up on the back bumper. You got to be very careful because it's real easy to hook. And It makes sense because, like you say, you look right there and you can see that. Trying to see if I can get to a Toyota right fast here. Yep, Josh Parker. You can see again right there, just kind of a pointed nose, as opposed to, like I'm saying, on the Fords out there, they're more of a flat nose style. So, got to be a little bit careful. Even on the Xfinity cars, they're a little bit touchy when it comes to bump drafting. The Cup car, the trucks, a little bit more forgiving. These cars out here, not so much, but nonetheless, pit stops will be something that'll be unique here. Tires will not be the biggest factor at the plate track here. Fuel will be your number one thing. You're going to see guys probably go a stint without taking tires. You'll see guys go with only taking 2 tires. And a lot of these guys out here, looks like if they took tires, it was only 2 tires. 6-second pit stops, a lot of them were. So we'll just have to see. And not going to be much of that chess match played here as far as pit strategy goes.
Hey, you said it first, so I'm going to dive into it right now. Is that pace car takes a dive down pit road. We're going green now, going into lap 14, but that chess match, oh, you started it, so I'm going to continue with it because that's what I like to talk about. So, pit stops, I don't see how pit stops will really, a pit strategy I don't think will benefit you as much as it does at other tracks, but your track position and how you handle moving through the field or kind of staying back and letting things happen in front of you and then being a little more reactive, that's where I think the level of that chess match increases, especially at these tracks, like you were saying. So I'm right there with you.
Absolutely. Well, we got Tim Johnson. Yeah, and it's something we'll keep an eye on as the race goes on. Again, the biggest thing here is losing the draft. You lose the draft, you're kind of like a sitting duck. Right now, everybody's kind of sitting in a big bubble. Everybody's hooked up. You got 2x2 up front. Mike Montesi right there, along with Timothy Johnson, Shannon Wood, Tommy Ryan, Justin Fuller, Jimmy North right there. You see them. You've got a whole slew of them up top, about 6 to 7 cars up top, and a whole line of them strewed down at the bottom as they come off down the back stretch. So really the whole pack right now still under a blanket. Got a lot of heavy hitter names out here, just kind of looking through the field here. Glenn Campbell out there, unfortunately got caught up in that wreck. With the Trans Service Cup machine out there, nice looking ride as always with him. Unfortunately, Kevin Brown, who was up front, got caught up into that. Jason Barham, I know you've heard this word, the kick-ass beef jerky. Well, he's the man behind all that there, so way back in the back right now, unfortunately. But again, the one thing about this race, I always say it's a wild card race. And the reason I say that is anybody can come up here and snatch a win here tonight.
Absolutely, and that could not be closer to the truth than, I know it ain't Talladega, and you know me, big from an Earnhardt family, all that jazz, so you probably know exactly what I'm about to hit you with, but you got guys chilling in the back, maybe mid-pack or something, and, you got Dale Earnhardt's last win at Talladega in 2000, when he came up from 17th, 16th, and just a few short laps to bring home the victory. So I like how Talladega and Daytona are they're completely different, yet they are a lot more similar than people think, especially people just coming in. They're like, oh, it has a different name, it's in a different state, it's a different racetrack, but they're pretty similar. And you know this as much as I do, how similar yet different the track. But I expect the same kind of stuff out of this race this evening, because I don't like considering anybody out of it.
No, not unless you're
not until you're out of it, So you can't count the guy that's sitting there at the back of that single file out of it until the checkered flag waves, because what happens in between now and then, how he moves through the field, how they get rolling with whether they get good pit stops, all that jazz, you know how it goes. And it's a question mark. I mean, you're going to have a lot of heavy hitters up front probably, so they can try to avoid some stuff. But just like what just happened in the real race, that incident started right up front. So nobody is safe, especially at these kind of tracks.
There you go. And right now, Justin Fuller back out front again here. Mike Matesi's along with him. Looks like Tommy Ryan's pushing him to the front. Oh, they're wrecking again. EJ O'Rourke again around. He almost had it held right there, but he goes to the infield. Started with him up there. Let's go back and watch the replay. Things are ill handling. Back and see what happened to him here. Coming through the tri-oval. Right there in that blue and white machine. He's got the interstate battery one right behind him. Oh, a little side draft going wrong. And he tried to hold on to it from there. It's a car wreck, and then you just saw the grass caught him. Able to keep the thing on the ground. Man, under caution here again.
Yeah, and that's, I mean, I know it was a side draft kind of thing going on right there, but usually the tri-oval and the turns, little stay away.
Yeah,
especially
and also
when it comes
there
to
too, Alex, you got to look. These cars are a little bit more unstable than what the Cup or the trucks are. We talked about how pretty much planted those Cups and truck cars are. It's a whole different world coming in here to the Xfinity. And I'll be honest with you, used to Xfinity cars on iRacing used to be one of the most, as far as NASCAR goes, is that, you know, the trifecta, used to be one of the most popular cars. They've not really grown as well to people. You know, that I think people really now, a lot of drivers are like, they're a little tougher to drive, you know. Some like them, some don't. It's kind of love-hate relationship.
Yeah, but you'll get that everywhere. I mean, throughout the series and all that jazz, and guys liking certain setups, certain cars, and I think you went into great detail about it earlier, going through the manufacturers, being like, "Oh, this one's got a little bit pointier of a nose. This one's a little flatter." You know what I mean? I think that was a good way to put that, for how some of them could have a different effect throughout the race. But a question that I have for you, actually, I mean, you know, my iRacing background is pretty much zero with actually being on iRacing, but big props to you, and thanks again for being able to set it up this way where I could be up here in the booth with you, despite not having it. And so, at Daytona, you know, the can't go below the double yellow. Is that enforced as well on iRacing? Just a quick little curiosity question.
It is now. Obviously, it is league dependent, but yes, and like if you go to official race, absolutely, and official races that they have here on iRacing Online, yes, the double file rule is in effect, so you can't pass. In this league, yes, they enforce that too. If you pass, going down low, you're going to have to give up your spot. So that brings us back to what the strategy will be at the end of the race. And and I know if they're side by side, it's not so much the leader out there; it's the car behind the leader on the inside. He's usually stuck, because he can't go low, he can't go below the yellow line, he can't go high because he's got a car out there. So it's pretty much he's going to have to push that guy in front of him to the win and hope maybe he can clear the top side guys. As opposed to the guy that's up top there, he's got another lane that he can go to. He can make it 3 wide up there at the top. So I've always said that coming down to the end, it's always about where you want your positioning at and who you want to work with. If you're because at some point in a race, coming down to the wire here, you're pretty much gonna have to say, okay, I got to push that guy to the win, because you don't want to wreck him, and because you might wrecking yourself too. So at some point you're just kind of stuck down there. But to answer your question, yes, they do enforce the double yellow line rule.
Awesome. Well, that puts things a little bit more in perspective as I got the puppy under me dreaming right now. He's making a little bit of noise down there sleeping, dreaming. But we're in our second caution. We're about a quarter way through the race, just past a quarter actually. In this 80
No fast
lap.
fixes here either, so that's another thing keep in mind.
Oh, good.
They run.
Okay.
They run. The biggest thing here too, Alex, is they run really about as real as you can get in iRacing here. They run 100% fuel. So these guys, again, when we talk about fuel, won't make that huge visit. Now, let me rephrase on that one. When I say 100% fuel, I know they do in the Cup car, in the Cup Series. I'm going to say, and I know in their Truck Series they ran 100%. So I'm going to say in their Xfinity Series they do the same across the board. So usually fuel was not ever the problem here. A lot of times at a lot of tracks, tires were, but not so much for tonight being on the plate track. So we'll just have to see. So yeah, this here in this league at Sim500, they run about as real as can get here. As we're sitting back green, Justin Fuller, Tim Johnson. Well, you got Glenn Campbell up our Mike Motesi. We'll have to see what Glenn can do. He's missing his back end. It might not be too bad if you can get somebody tucked in behind him.
Yeah, you got guys already dropping down low a little bit. You got a couple guys already got some 3 wide. Oh, and he closes it down a little bit. But these guys are doing a pretty good. I mean, I think these guys are keeping it pretty clean, being well disciplined as that guy is left up there to hang in that 44 machine all by his lonesome. Nobody wanted to go with him. He just falls back to that little 4-pack right there in that second row, coming in to finish this first lap.
Absolutely. Well, that's the biggest thing. You got to have friends here. You got to be able to hook up with, talk about teams. Daniel Dow, now that's a new name I haven't really heard of, and Adam Patet. I hope I said that right. Those two names there I'm not really familiar with here in the league. Maybe two newcomers or been here in the running other series that I'm not familiar with. Knight having a pretty good run. They're up the 4th right there. Anthony Calatoni hanging on to the 5th place spot. Jimmy North. Chad Coleman up there looking really good too in himself. We'll see a lot of guys here just making passes, and the frustrating thing, it's fun to watch for us here. Plate tracks are always fun to watch, whether it be in real life or on iRacing. But it's frustrating as a driver because you see right now, you see Justin Fuller and Mike Motesi up there. They can't go anywhere. They're stuck, and you're just kind of hanging on.
Yeah, they're just kind of trying to make it roll how they can, but I'm going to take a whack at that name because I like to take a whack at some interesting names, so I'm going to go with you and say Patet.
Sounds close enough to me.
Yeah, that's how it's spelled out right here for us, right here on I'm looking at the numbers chart right here, number 57, Adam Patet, sitting right there in that fifth spot right here from Lenexa, Tenex, Kansas. I don't know why I said Tenex. I don't even know what I'm doing over here.
That's all right. He's having a good run, though. He's up to 5th right now, just kind of being a little bit patient. I also kind of bring this up, and I don't think I really have mentioned it. Right now, you kind of see the drafting, being very patient. You see it in real life, too. I always call this textbook drafting, and the reason I say that is you see just how far apart these guys are. One, they don't want to overheat the cars. They're a little close right there, but most of the time they're within about a half a hood or a hood car length, a hood length apart from each other. And early on, I usually say that's textbook. You're just sitting there riding, you're sitting there biding your time. Now, with 5 and on the last lap, forget about it. You're going to tuck that thing up there. I don't care if it blows up. You're going to try to put it in the passenger seat if you can, but for the time being, you're going to see these guys out here just be a little patient, out here riding. You're going to see the gap in between them right now, and probably a lot of guys are wondering, well, why ain't they up underneath the bumper? One, you don't want to overheat the car. 2, it's just really too early for that.
Yeah, I mean, right here. So, don't get
It's like
mad
the
at
car's
me.
going to drop off and go to the back. Little strategy there for him.
Is that?
Well,
Is
I
that
mean,
what he's
usually
doing?
if that's what, usually if somebody drops off like that, that's usually kind of what they're, kind of do.
Yeah, it looks like that's exactly what he did. But I'm gonna take your line right here and say we can, no matter what, once that white flag flies, y'all can kill each other.
That's it.
I mean, that's your line.
Absolutely. I
But-
mean, and that's it holds true because I mean, really, you know, in iRacing, they're not going to throw the white, you know, they're not going to throw the yellow flag. And from my knowledge, in real racing, they won't either, unless maybe the crash happens right across the start-finish line. They might do it. They might end it that way because they obviously know those guys are going to be coming around there full speed out of turn 4. And if there's cars, you know, still in the middle of the track. But I don't think that's ever happened. Most of the time, the wrecks on the last lap usually happen on the bad stretch or turn 3 or 4.
Right, and how these guys are going. I mean, I'm gonna jump back to what you said, how they usually stay about a hood, maybe half a hood or so away from each other. I think that's how you most effectively can get the draft going. And I mean, you got a good view right here from Jason's viewpoint right here. He was sitting at about a hood. Now he's a little bit less than half, but now he's back to maybe about a hood or so. But that's how you effectively get the draft. I mean, I've watched countless videos, and I guess you can call them studies about how the draft plays a factor with these cars and the prime positioning for it and how far it is to break it. Like if you're too far back and how broken it gets, you know? So, but these guys, it looks like they're staying pretty good to keep that draft in general going down the entire line, as it looks like Justin jumps up to the top line a little bit. Maybe throw a little block right there, the top line.
Yeah, I got to shout something out here. Jason Barham, I'm not used to him sitting out here, but it looks like in this part right here, it looks like he's got some bass fish on the hood there. So I've always said he's part of the kick-ass beef jerky, but now maybe he's got fish jerky.
There's
or
a
kick-ass fish jerky. There we go.
Fish jerky's a thing?
I don't know. I'm just that there's bass on his hood. Jason Barham's usually associated with the kick-ass beef jerky. He knows the owners. He helps out with the owners. He actually runs and helps run that company and so forth. I'm just kind of making a way here. And Joey, if you're out there, Joey Catini, if you're out there watching, let me know the thing. But hey, look, we just made a new product that, you know, maybe they can make themselves another $1 million off of. And kick-ass fish jerky.
Yeah, who knows? Maybe we just came up with something right here on the broadcast. Who knows? Hopefully we get well, more so you than me. I didn't. I was just over here questioning everything you were just saying, but
I'll let you try it. How's that? You let me know how it works or how it tastes.
I'll take trying it. I mean, just put me in that beta tester group. Hey, let these guys try it out and see if it's fit for human consumption, and I'll be at the front of the line, my dude. So. Maybe we just came up with some.
Well, I know that the kick-ass beef jerky, you know, it tastes really well. I've had some of them. Definitely check them out. Check them out there. But here tonight, Ford Entertainment Group here at Daytona, kicking off the season for the Xfinity Series here at the Sim500. And if you're looking for a PC, you're looking for anything sim-related, you know, product or anything like that, check out Ford Entertainment, FEG. You know, check him out. Jeffrey Ford will definitely get you hooked up. He makes, you know, some of the top-notch computers. He specializes in sim racing style PCs, but I mean, he can do about anything you want. He can also get you a rig, get you about any pedals or anything. So check him out. These guys are definitely racing championship-wise for a you know, a chance at a custom-built PC by Ford Entertainment Group.
Yeah, and I think that's pretty neat, especially from this, hearing what you were saying about it the other day, or, well, yesterday pretty much. But these guys, I mean, having that up for grabs, that's a huge thing. And
Oh
I
yeah.
think that's pretty awesome how they do that and how it's organized. And I just think that's such a neat concept and a great incentive to be good and be successful in this league.
Well, also check us out tonight here on OSR Network on Facebook and YouTube. Definitely hit the likes and shares out there. Appreciate everybody tuning in. And I see we got Overlocks user BP John 411. That is that's a mouthful of name there. But what's going on out there first? How are you? Appreciate everybody tuning in. I know there's a lot watching. Some of them kind of silent out there. And we're also going to check out the Sim500 Esports forum over there on Facebook and give them a like and a share. So right now up front, it's still all Justin Fuller. I don't know why I said Jason, but Justin Fuller and Mike Maltese right there, Timothy Johnson. I don't know. What would you rather be, out front or in the back? I always, when I raced, Alex, I always like hanging out in the back a little bit. But usually I always ended up finding myself kind of in the middle or at the front and didn't want to be there. All right, right now, down low, you still see Timothy Johnson out front, right along with Justin Fuller right there, tucked up behind him. Anthony Calatoni, Mike Maltese, Jason Barham there along with it. Maybe kind of getting spread out. What are you thinking, man, as far as Mike thinking about coming in for pits? All right. Alex says he's going to step out for just a second. He'll be right back. But up front, we got Tim Johnson, Justin Fuller, Anthony Calatoni, Jimmy North coming up front there, I tell you. Milt Thies. I always had to say his name a little bit. Ralph Vandervorst. There we go. There's another guy. I tell you what, man, just a lot of these guys I'm really familiar with. Been a long time since I got to see them. These guys race since since the end of the Kick-Ass Beef Turkey Truck Series. So, long time not seeing these guys here at the Sim500. Good to see a lot of them out here running and still going along. Looks like Kevin Brown has been able to bounce back a little bit up to 20th. Looking pretty good so far in himself. Richard Beasley right there along with him. Those are 3 or 4 machines there in the back, kind of hooked up. Still back up front. It is all Justin Fuller, Anthony Calatoni, and company, Tim Johnson right there.
Yeah, I'm looking at this front group right here, Joe, and these guys are, I mean, like you said, Justin Fuller up here, kind of keeping his hands full. He's kind of jumping in between lines really quick, throwing out, I wouldn't want to call it like blocks and whatnot, because they're not like super detrimental groove changing blocks, which, I mean, you know what I mean when I say that. But
oh yeah. Well, he's trying to find the he's trying to keep the draft at bay up front there. And you talk about Earnhardt. He was one of the guys that used to do that a lot. And what it is you would shift between the top and the bottom. The bottom would get a run on you. You drop down there, kind of hold it up a little bit. Top start getting a run. You jump up there, hold it up. That's kind of textbook. Now, at some point, obviously, they're going to overcome you, because of just the speed and the momentum they have. As you see right there, that's kind of what Mike Maltese did coming to the top side. But that's usually, again, I'll take it to another word, textbook, trying to stay out front.
yeah, and ever since we were on that Bass car, I cannot keep my eyes off it. I mean, I've just been watching them throughout this little stint we got going on. As the field's getting a little more spread out, as we're about to hit halfway right here as we cross the stripe. right there. 40 laps done, 40 laps to go. We're at our halfway mark here in the Sim500 Xfinity Series. But, I mean, this front group looks pretty competitive, these guys, and I like to use the word discipline. They've been
very
pretty disciplined and how they're racing. And I'll go into it again. It's with the bump draft, and these guys will hug across the entire back stretch, and they'll lay off a little bit in the turns. And I mean, that last lap depicting that statement, you know what I mean? But and through the tri-oval as well. But these guys, I think, are having a very well-disciplined race right here, especially this front group being as competitive as they are. And I like talking about competitiveness because that goes into say how some of these guys you might not know, but you can't count anybody out of these tracks. I mean, you said at the beginning, you can get guys down 2 laps that come back and win somehow.
I mean, you need a little help, but yeah, I definitely have seen it. I mean, you need a few cautions to fall your way, and obviously a very fast, race car. But I definitely have seen it. And kind of just the way this place is. I always call it a wild card style race. Anybody can win it here. Yeah, you've got guys that love plate style racing. They're very, very good at it right now. And I'll take, let's say, Justin Fuller for one. Don't want to take it. That's the thing about this league here. Every one of these drivers out here, top notch. It is really hard to pick just one driver. I know a lot of the tendencies of some of the drivers out here, what they do and how they race a little bit. Just I've been calling them for so long and watching them. But, I mean, if you go through this field, it really is a star-studded field here. And you can see, we've only had a couple cautions. And like I've told you, I've seen them go plate tracks, flag to flag, green flag. I've seen them go with only a couple, cautions. And right now, we're looking pretty good. I mean, we're well past halfway in this one. And it's been a very solid race, very patient up front. Now, 10 to go, that's maybe a different subject.
Absolutely. So, but like you're saying, this, as you know, is my first time being here with you in this group. Man, this group looks competitive, and that's saying a lot about the group of guys. And it seems like a lot of them, if not the entire field, has a really good head on their shoulders when it comes to racing, especially being as disciplined as they should be at a track like Daytona. So seeing how these guys are keeping it together and keeping it as competitive as they can, I mean, that's always great to see. I know, and these guys are doing a great job at demonstrating that for everyone. So hats off to these guys, and as this group is just still chugging along, and you got a couple mix-ups not mix-ups, I'll say lead changes, not mix-ups. Don't even know where mix-ups came from.
Well, you're going to get a lot of lead changes here. That's the biggest thing with the plate track. Yeah, you're swapping positions all the time. Really hard. Usually don't do a rundown order here because they never get in a single file. It seems to be. It's been a while. You're used to the Cup car, the old days with the old package. It would get in a single file. You could probably do something, but with the Xfinity, the Cup, and the truck now, you're using side by side. Now they might be setting it up here for some pit stops, and that's another thing we need to talk about here is when they're going to start doing their pit stops here. And obviously this could lead into being the last pit stop because I take it to 100% fuel. So they could take this thing. Well, we're sitting at what right now? We're sitting at 45. They could probably take it at least another. I'll say 10 more laps or so. You got to be thinking about pit strategy or pit stop. You want to get down there to that bottom lane so you'll be able to get off on pit road easy.
Yeah, I'm right there with you with kind of picking where you're going to do that pit stop because, I mean, everything's a big question mark. Is there going to be another caution? Is there going to be just green flag stops? Is it going to go green the rest of the way? Who knows what's going to happen? We've got 3 wide up at the front coming through turn 1 and 2 for the lead right here. Nice little battle going on. And like this front group, I mean, just as they take it back down to about 2. But this group is competitive right here. Just watching these guys, it is not locked in. Nobody knows who's going to win. So
no. Justin's been up front most of it, but any one of those guys in that pack right there can take it.
Yeah, because you never know. Maybe a dude's just sitting, chilling, waiting for his chance to attack. Who knows what's running through these guys' heads right now? But I mean, like you said, maybe about 5-10 laps or so, you're looking to come down. But if it goes green, are you leaving yourself enough? You know what I mean?
Well,
I don't want to split it down the middle.
Well, I think a lot of these guys are probably, as far as pit strategy goes, they pitted along with those. A lot of the guys up front pitted at lap 20. Now, I'm going to think here about around lap 60 to maybe 55 is when we're going to start seeing some pit stops coming on board. You can still see Mike Matesi right there. And that 48, that was Jimmy North, who tested the waters up there at that 3 wide. He didn't have anybody go with him, but just seeing what the car will do. And again, like I was talking before, you see right here, perfect example. If we were coming to the last lap here, who is that? Anthony Calatoni right now would be stuck right behind Justin Fuller. Nothing he can do. He can't go lower because he can't cross the line. He can't go high because, well, look who's up there on the top side, Mike Matesi. But the 48 up there that we were talking a minute ago, Jimmy North, he's got that additional lane there. He could go 3 wide and take it up there a little further. So when you're on the inside like that, kind of stuck, and then he's pretty much going to have to push whoever it is in front of him. But we just saw right there, unusual. Justin Fuller jumped up high. Don't know why. He's been traveling down low, but he jumped up high right there.
Yeah, and I like how you dive into how. What's his name? Mike Calatoni? Is that his name?
Mike Matesi. Oh, you're talking about Anthony? Oh, Anthony Calatoni.
Yeah, Anthony Calatoni. How you were just talking how he was kind of stuck behind Justin Fuller right there, and I'm just gonna send my apologies out right now. I'm learning the names as I go. My first race with these
believe
guys.
me, the first time I ever did them, I was all over the place too. So, and I still am with a lot of the names. I mean, a lot of the drivers out there, they'll help you out and whatnot. A good group of guys here. You just, I don't know. If I was a betting man, I would probably be like, I don't want to bet because I don't know who's going to win up front.
Yeah, and like I was saying, I like how you dive into how that bottom line, usually if they're running 2x2, is that bottom line's kind of set in stone is how I'll put it. Because that fits pretty much what you're saying perfectly. Because here at Daytona, they can't jump down below that line. I mean, you got the whole debate if they were forced down, all that jazz, blah, blah, blah. You know, all that hubble-abab that happens sometimes. As you got
Jason Barham out front.
Yeah, you got the Bass Machine out front now. The Bass
Machine, yeah. We got that fish jerky mobile out front. That's what we're going to start calling it if he keeps running that thing for the rest of the season. he's gonna adapt that on the side. I mean, like I said, we just made him a new product there for the kick-ass beef jerky. So awesome run, awesome little machine out there. Unusual here though, Justin Fuller out front dominating, but he dropped back. Now maybe he is. I've said this a couple times in races, and I know you've heard me say it. Fast drivers out front that usually, go out front and they dominate and they lead most of the race, and then later in the race, for somehow pit strategy or something, they end up, several cars back in the pack, and then they have trouble getting back up because they don't know what their car or truck is going to do once they get into traffic because they've been out front for so long, and by the time that happens, it's too late, and they usually end up losing. This might be a strategy here that Justin Fuller's doing. Let me see what my car will do in a pack, drafting, pushing, and pulling as far as the draft goes, and see if I can bring it back to the front. I know what it'll do out front. already, but let me see what it's going to do in a pack. Can I take it in a pack like where he's sitting right now and bring it back to the front? It's only a guess that that's what he's doing. I mean, he could be just back there, biding his time. But again, smart move either way.
I definitely like that concept that you just went through and testing yourself, because it sets you up for different situations throughout the race. And I'm definitely a fan of that. But so I'm going to go back to the bass machine for a second right there. I'm pretty sure that today there was some bass fishing competition, or maybe I don't remember if it was a championship or what. I saw something on it when I was watching the truck race Friday night. Something about a bass fishing competition going on today. So maybe that's what he's got going on.
If you see right here, Hallis, I don't mean to interrupt you right there, but if you see, we're watching Jason Barrett. We're actually riding here with Anthony, but Jason's right in front of him. He's got the ugly stick there, and he's got the fish. So I guess we not only do we got fish jerky, but we got ugly fish jerky. So, look, we're making some great names for you there for the kick-ass beef jerky product. Obviously, y'all can have some kick-ass ugly fish jerky. And there you go. That's a new product you can come out with. New line. You can have bass, trout, flounder, you name it. Jason Barham's going to race it. That's it, catfish. Jason Barham's going to race it. Right now, he's racing himself to the front.
Yeah, and he's doing a good job of it. I mean, just looking up really quick, Ugly Stick is a fishing website. Just looking right here, you got a couple fishing poles right here. The Ugly Stick fishing pole line they got going on. So it looks like a line on purefishing.com or yeah. So it says purefishing.com, and then you go to pages, and then you got Ugly Stick right there. So maybe he's got some little insider stuff with the bass fishing stuff going on. Who knows?
I've always said sponsors, guys come out here with real sponsors. They come out with their own style businesses. It's phenomenal. And obviously, like tonight with Ford Entertainment Group here, sponsoring the Xfinity Series. And the thing about Sim500, folks, go check out Sim500.com. You'll get all the info that you need about the league and all the series that they run, because they run a multitude of series throughout the week, and a lot of them are broadcast style series, and usually they fill up very fast. They have a lot of sponsors here. So Joey Katina and company here do a lot. He's got admins and everything out there that is very good. So right now, Jason Barron showing what he's got. He's got Jimmy North there along with him, Timothy Johnson, Anthony Calatoni, Tommy Ryan, and Austin Smith out there in the chat. What's going on? Austin says, guess he's rooting for the team. Get a three machine out there.
I saw one earlier. It looked like he had the old Dale Earnhardt.
He's not dead, but he's still running. So fine. Just Jeff Ryan? Is that who he's talking about? See here, Jeff Ryan is the man in this. There it is. Okay. Well, no, he's not dead. A little creeped up a little bit. He got caught up in that wreck earlier on, but yeah, he's still out there trucking. Back in 30th, though. Really off the pace right now, so we'll have to see if he's...
the historic 3 and 8 right in front and back of each other at Daytona.
Yeah, where they need to be in the back. I mean, you're doing well.
Yeah, I was about to say, I don't know if that's a quick little shot at me or
I know what.
what.
Alex is going to be like, wait a minute, that's my guy. Hold on a second.
hold the phone there.
Pit stops underway. Hey, man, I tell you what, when it came to plate track racing, I will say it, I was never a really big fan of them, but there was none no better than probably the Earnhardts on them. So unless you look a little further back to Bill Elliott, which I was a fan of. So back in those days, as far as super speedways goes, those were the guys to look at right there. But pit stops here, we talked about it. Justin Fuller just came into pit road with 23 to go. Here's the thing, though. He's coming out of pit road. Doesn't look like he's got much help. He might be able to hook on the back end of this pack here. But he's going to be off with the lead pack cars. I'm going to say he's going to need a caution to get back up there, because here's the lead pack. And Justin Fuller's just not. Now, all these guys are going to have to pit up here, obviously. But still, you see Justin Fuller right there, kind of, we talked about needing help. Well, he's the lone duck in a big pond, empty.
Yeah, and I think maybe he was hoping some more people would come through with him on that pit stop, but he left a little bit sitting, hoping by his lonesome, and unfortunately, he's just by himself. And you don't want that kind of stuff here at these racetracks. You know as well as I do that you don't want that kind of stuff going on here.
Here in the background back there, did you get your significant other some Valentine's today?
I absolutely did, and I can ask you the same. But
I did. I got my wife some. I hear it back there. How you go? Yeah, woohoo! Hey, that's awesome, man. Like you said, you definitely got to. I got my wife some. I got a rose out there, and she got me some Reese's because she knows how much I love Reese's. Which the only thing they do for me is make me rounder. But hey.
I got Taylor some Reese's too. Isn't that awesome?
Reese's are awesome. Well, I want to wish everybody a happy Valentine's Day out there. If you haven't already gotten said happy Valentine's Day to your loved one, your wife, your girlfriend, significant other, your neighbor, whoever you want to say it to, go ahead, shout it out there. We got Jason Barham leading it out front. Timothy Johnson here. He'd love to put it in victory lane tonight and put some love for that machine there and cap off a win here to start this season for the Sim500 Xfinity Series for the Ford Entertainment Group here at Daytona.
Yeah, and just going, Jason Barham, that's his name? Jason is his first name, right?
Jason Barham, yes.
Okay. Jason's doing, he's holding it down up there with the fish power. We'll call it the fish power. Holding it down up front with the fish powers. This inside line's kind of getting a good run off of 1 and 2 here, coming along the back stretch. But we got, this front group is just, I can't stress enough how competitive this front group is, and this is what I like to see. This I like to see 2x2 going through a decent ways through the field. I mean, you got the group up here, and the reason why I like this is because with this, you have so many opportunities as we go into 19 to go here at Daytona, and it looks like Jason Fuller, which one is it?
Justin Fuller,
excuse me. Finally picking up a pack, but he's got the lead pack knocking on his back door right here as they're closing in a little bit. Maybe
and I wonder when this lead pack's going to come in the pit here. Now, we go back to them being on 100% fuel. They pitted at lap 20. You've got Jimmy North up front leading it, but all these guys do not look like they're trying to settle in to go down low or anything like that. They're still 2x2 stacked up in the back. But you're right. I don't think, if my calculations, and I know they're going to be wrong, I do not think even with 100% fuel that they can make it all the way from lap 20. Got less than 20 to go in this one. At some point, you're gonna have to come in here and make that pit stop. Obviously, these guys are only going to be a fuel stop. No, I don't think you're going to see none of these guys take tires on this.
So my question to you is how long are the pit stops? Like, how long are they on pit road? I mean, as you got that whole group just jumping off right there. I'm kind of curious how long the pit stop is, like just going down pit road in general.
Well, I can give you an idea. I can give you an idea right fast there, Alex.
Okay.
we can look, and that's the two numbers I always like giving out to folks there when we talk about it. Obviously, the pit stop itself, everybody knows what that is. That's when they get into the pit box and when the pit stop is done and the crews get done and they get the tires and fuel done. But there's one other number that is very, very important, and a lot of times we see battles on and off pit road, and we're wondering how a guy beats a guy off pit road, but yet the one guy has a faster pit stop. Well, let's take, for instance, right now, Mike Maltese. He just had an 8-second stop, which is normally telling me he just put 2 tires in and filled it up with fuel, because it takes about 8 to 9 seconds to fill one of these up with fuel here on iRacing. You might as well put 2 tires on while you're at it, because it's usually around a 14, 13-second stop if you put 4 tires on and take the other set. But with that said, we're looking at it and go, okay, well, great. He had an 8-second pit stop. He had it was 8.82 for his stop. But the other number, the time it takes for him to get on pit road, get to his box, do his stop, get back all the way off pit road and back onto the track, that's what the time right here is. And it was a 36-second stop flat. And that's a number that you have to look at, because if you look at, let's say, for instance, Ralph Vandervoorst, who was right there, who had a 8.08 stop, but his total time was a 35.58. It's almost half a second faster. You know, and I know in racing, a half a second is an eternity on the track, and if you can make up that kind of time, wow, you're doing something.
Yeah, and listening to all those times there, I know. So I'm just gonna go out on a limb here. I'm shooting for a between. Okay, I think 50 seconds per lap is a little fast.
Right now, 55 seconds.
Yeah, I was going to say I'm shooting 55. For between 53 and 56.
Well, 49, actually, really, we got to take that back. It's actually 47-second times right now, 49 on newer tires. And in the draft, it's times that are in the 50 and 55s or 51s, a little bit slower. Now, we talked about Justin Fuller right here. He's caught up with this lead pack. I think he got a little bit fortunate right now to be able to sit where he's at. It's showing him in 11th place, but he is right there, and you see Josh Parker. Just see how far back he wise. Only showing him 3 seconds. Not too bad if he can get hooked up with a draft and get going to the front.
Yeah, and maybe that's where his little test will come into play, because like you were saying earlier, it looks like he just kind of dropped back, like kind of like for the fun of it. You know what I mean? Maybe he's also challenging himself, but looking at it, how he's been kind of going. Josh Parker right there, is that him up front in the 23? Is that who I'm looking at up front? And then Timothy Johnston right behind him. Yeah, there we go. Josh Parker in the 23. Shout out to Michael Jordan, because he and I actually have the same birthday, and it is February 17th, which is Wednesday. But he took all the basketball skill for the day, so that's why I'm not over here playing basketball. I'm over here with you doing this, and I'm ecstatic to be up here with you, Joe. So yeah, just because we saw it in what was it, the Great Lakes Cup Series last night. Who was it? Oh goodness, I can't remember who it was. Maybe it was Gavin Fitzgerald. Had a really decent amount of damage to his car, but he still finished what, sixth or something like that. Just to put it in perspective, a different league. Yeah, and I mean, who we got? Justin Fuller. I'm still trying to get the name right. Justin Fuller, right? There we go. Sitting right there in that 51 machine in that top groove. As we just passed 10 laps to go, we're on 9 laps to go right here through the 80 laps. And I mean, honestly, this has gone pretty quick, if you ask me. These guys have done a great job of keeping it rolling. I think we got 2 cautions total so far. Don't let me jinx anything. Yeah, and he's done a good job. So I guess let's call it his notional test that you said he had going on, as my puppy is right now licking my foot trying to tickle me. Uh, his notional test worked out pretty good. He worked his way up through this pack pretty swiftly, if you ask me. But this top line is working real good as you're watching from Tommy Ryan's view right here, the 99 machine. And this top line is working pretty good. And I mean, you got a Toyota, 2 Toyotas right there up front. I mean, Tommy's right here with the Chevy, but I mean, yeah, I'm thinking this. I mean, if it were me, sorry, my dog's tickling my feet, licking my feet and all that jazz. He needs to knock it off. But I mean, these guys are race. I think this is pretty hard racing going on right here. Coming up to about 5 laps to go right here once we pass a stripe. But these guys are just cruising, and like it. Yeah, I think if you want to set yourself up good, you need to make sure you're in the right position with maybe 2-3 laps to go or so you can make that move on the final lap and make this race your race. Yeah, and I mean, we'll go back to Ryan Newman's horrific crash from the 2020 Daytona 500. I mean, you can still go over on your roof and you'll still get second, third. Who knows what can happen? But I mean, it's obviously not as detrimental on iRacing as it is in real life. And thank goodness Ryan Newman made out how he did, and unfortunately he crashed out of the race earlier, but he's okay and he's back racing, and that's always good to see. But seeing how some of these cars are, I mean, as you come across the stripe, 3 laps to go, these guys are going to start getting a little bit dicier, and I mean, it's going to be an exciting 3 laps, especially with this group being as competitive as it is. Right up here is you got Justin Fuller right there sitting right on that back bumper of that Which, who is that? Josh? No, wait. Yeah, Josh Parker. That's who I thought it was. Yeah, and this will go right back to what you're saying with if that bottom line stays where it is, you ain't gonna have anywhere to go. And oh my goodness, as you got cars flipping around, oh my gosh! And of course, it's right before they take it. Yeah, no, and that sets up for a, I guess a green white checker, right? So So I was holding down the A button instead of my caps button to talk real quick. So nothing came out of my mouth, but I mean, so does this league, do they do lane choice for the leader? So coming into green white checkered, I'm not going to say I want the leader to pick a certain lane, but if it were me in my completely unbiased view, I mean, I know none of these guys. I've never talked with these guys before. I'm just glad to be up here with you. I mean, it's Daytona. Who doesn't want to be involved in the Daytona race in any which way, shape, or form that they come in? And I mean, this is awesome for me in general, but if I were the leader, I would shut down that inside line by taking that outside line. And that's just me and my entire, as you probably hear a bunch of squeaking going on. I got the puppy going absolutely crazy back there. but I think I would personally take that outside. I think we call it the zoomies. He's just like he's a little juiced up on something. Let's put it that way. You know, it looks like Jimmy North and I mean, I don't know. I don't know his first name, so and he's got Calantoni locked onto his rear bumper, it seems. So Anthony right there locked on with him as you got Doy Woods right there coming in. They got that. I mean, I got all the squeaks going on behind me. Apollo is going absolutely nuts. He's excited for this green, white, checkered finish as much as I am. So absolutely. And if I was Anthony Calantoni right there, I mean, it's the last lap of Daytona. You got to try something. You are in prime position to make something happen. So you got to try something if you ask me. And that he did. Yeah, he did a great job of coming up here at the end, and especially with Anthony Calantoni right there, being as squirrely as he was right there at the end, trying to make something happen. He ended up coming up P3, and Doy ended up taking that P2 spot for this race. So hats off to them, and nice job to wow, I keep forgetting Jimmy North, right? Is that who that was? Jimmy North coming out with the win here at Daytona on this opener for this season for the Sim 500. Hey Anthony, it's Alex up in the booth. You got us?
Yes, I do, sir.
Anthony, how you doing after a strong third place finish this evening, Daytona for the season opener? How are you feeling after that?
After this one, I think my heart needs a restart.
Well, hopefully we can help you out with that a little bit. I mean, coming in right there, last lap, I'm sitting over here like, oh, he's got to make a move, and that you did, and he ended up coming up P3. But anyways, you still got a podium finish. So what's your mentality kind of coming in for that last little? And there he goes. He went. Hey Anthony, it's Alex up in the booth. You got us again.
I'm sorry, Alex. My cat stepped on my keyboard, bounced me out of the channel. What was that question?
I'm just asking your little move coming up there on that last lap, man. What you got to thinking coming in from that spot you were in, trying to see if you could secure that win, my dude.
Uh, on that restart, I just tried to get me and Jimmy as far as away from everyone else. Uh, I was going to make the move off four. I probably made it a little too early there. Uh, I had a feeling no one was going to help me, so I had to take a shot. I should have waited a little bit longer, but I'm glad to see Jimmy get the win, push him to the win.
Yeah, man. And like you said, it looked like nobody came up there to help you, but I mean, you it looked like you had something going on right there. And granted, you came up P3, so I mean, at least you got that podium finish, like I said. So, anybody you want to give a shout out to, thank for this race for this evening at Daytona.
Yeah, it was a good start to the season. Hopefully, it'll carry on throughout the weeks. I just want to thank you guys for doing the broadcast. All the guys who sponsor the league and the series. We couldn't do it without them.
Awesome. Well, great to have you in here with us. A nice podium finish coming in third place here at Daytona for the season opener in the Sim500 Xfinity Series going on right here. So glad to have you up here with us. Congratulations on your third place finish here.
Thank you.
Hey, Doy Woods, this is Alex Sibic up in the booth. You got us?
Yes, sir.
Hi, man. How you doing tonight after finishing in that second place silver position at the season opener here?
Yeah, it feels pretty good. I mean, starting the back road, just road. That's what you got to do. Stay out of trouble, and just try to be there at the end. Got in a couple wrecks, but didn't get too much of damage where I could still keep up and just, stay to the bottom, stay with the guys that I know. They know who they are, and just work with them. And hey, it paid off for us to get second place. And good way to start the season and a good way to go. Let everybody know I'm going after that championship this year.
And what a great way to start that championship run, like you just said. Coming in with that second place run. What are you thinking coming into that last little restart right before that green white checkered? Where's your mind kind of sitting coming in for that from where you were to where you actually ended up finishing, man?
Well, before that last green right checkered, before we ended, I had a little bit of damage and I was like 10th or 11th, and I wasn't gonna make no hay where I was at. So actually, I was just backing off, thinking, well, if there's trouble, maybe I'll have a chance of missing it, and that's what happened. And so it worked out in that green white checkered. I got a hellacious bump from behind, and it helped me out to get that second place finish. And hey, congrats to Jimmy. It's been a while for him. Hopefully, this takes the monkey off his back, and he can go get him another one.
Yeah, and you got a very nice, like you said, we'll call it a hellacious bump from behind you, and it ended up working out pretty good for you coming in with that P2 finish. Anybody you want to give a shout out to? Thank for this race you got coming in second place here at the season opener at Daytona.
Oh yeah, all my teammates on TeamSpeak, all the guys, they know who they are. They all awesome guys. They experts. They they just know things that a lot of people don't know. They're ahead of the game, and they make me ahead of the game. So I owe it all to them. I pay homage to my boys. They make me better. I'm able to still do this because of them, and it's great. And I'm going to continue to do this all season, and I'm going to get me about 5 or 6 wins. And like I say, I'm telling everybody right now, I'm winning this championship.
Well, you heard it here first, folks, from Doy Woods, championship contender, finishing second place here at Daytona for the season opener. Congrats on your second place finish again here at Daytona. Couldn't be more ecstatic for you. So nice to have you up here, man. Good hearing from you, and very nice mentality you got going in there for this championship run you got going.
Thank you, sir. And I'm going to be back. Y'all going to interview me hopefully every week.
Yeah, I got you, Joe. Oh man, I tell you, the nerves are up big time. I was shaking. I wasn't sure if somebody was going to try something on the outside coming to the checkers, but they did, and eventually I just was able to keep that momentum and put the 48 Exalta Chevrolet in victory lane. Oh, we're pumped up, and we're going to be giving it 100% every race. That's my main goal. I didn't race much last season, but this year I'm back. We're just going to keep plugging away here and working with teammates and getting better information on when to pit, how much fuel to take, tires, all that stuff. I got a good group of teammates within Sim500, so. Well, I want to thank you guys personally, OSRN Network, for covering the race, Sim500, and of course all the admins and all the drivers. Without everyone together doing this wouldn't be possible. It wouldn't happen without everybody. So it's a big thanks, especially to Joey Gatina. He does a lot of work. And same with the other admins on getting all the series going, keeping them going. So, yeah, much to be thankful for. Really appreciate it, Joe. Whew. I'm going to start cracking me some beers, boys.
Yeah, we can get Jimmy right here, fresh caught lobster. Bring him down the East Coast for him in Florida at Daytona International Speedway. Granted, that's not where he's from, but you know how that stuff goes. They're all spread out. But anyways, good stuff for him. Nice. I mean, it was a great race, great opening race. Love seeing them start the race here at Daytona. What an iconic track, and the history behind it, and the race at Daytona, whether it be just the track or on the beach as well. You know how it is. But hats off to these guys. What a great race. Like you said, a couple cautions early, and then that caution right at the end is set up for that green-white checkered and bring some excitement for the kickoff to this series here tonight.
Well, we're going to leave here at Daytona for the first race of the season here for the Ford Entertainment Group Xfinity Series for the Sim500. Hope everybody enjoyed it. For myself, Alex, and everybody here at the Sim500, everyone have a good night.